Hello, my name is Mark, and today I am going to be going over graphing linear equations. This is part 2. Make sure to check out part 1 before starting this video. This is part of the continuing education portion of my playlist that I have curated just for you. To pass the IBEW Aptitude Test, I do offer test prep. Okay? That's about it, guys. I'm a little upset about me recording and the audio not working. So I'm doing this all over again. And you know what? I was reading the comments, and I had a person tell me that I take too long to explain things. Well, you know what? I like that I do that. So you get to know the bare bones of everything. All right? I like to teach everything Barney style so you could grasp the concepts and the fundamentals. So let's just begin, guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. It really helps when you do all those things. Okay, steps to graphing linear equations. Step 1, rewrite the equation with x and y on the same side. I used to teach it to where we had y equals mx plus b, okay? But now I like it this way that I am about to teach you, okay? Step 2, find the y-intercept, where we set x to 0. Step 3, find the x-intercept, where we set y for 0, okay? First it was x, and now it is y, all right? Step 2 and 3. Step 4, plot both intercepts and connect the points. And step 5, check the graph by testing another point or matching the answer choices. The big idea here, guys, is all we need to do is get 2 points to create a line. All right? A line only needs 2 points to graph. So there are 2 other methods. There are many methods to solving these questions, but right now we're going to go with graphing. Okay, I know you could just plug in some points, or you could find the cutoff. However, this is to get the concept of graphing down, okay? Because somebody might like to graph instead of plugging in points. Who knows? Everyone has their method, okay? So let's just go on with the questions. Question number 1, consider the following formula. 3x plus 2y equaling 12. All right, which statement is true for this formula? And it has all these answer choices right here. So the first thing that I would do is I would find my x and y intercepts, because already we have x and y on one side. And all we have to do is set x to 0 for the y-intercept and y for 0 for the x-intercept. Let me show you, okay? So first, let me just set x to 0, x equaling 0, okay? And that's going to give me this, 3, 0, plus 2y equaling 12. And then 0 times 3, what does that equal? Well, that's 0. So we get 0 plus 2y equaling 12. Okay? Giving us just 2y equaling 12. And then we divide by 2, and then we get y is equal to 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. So then our ordered pair is 0, because x is 0, comma 6, okay? That is our first point. Now let's find the other ordered pair by making y 0. So we're just going to make y 0 instead. So we have 3x plus 2 and then 0 equaling 12. And then that gives us 3x equaling 12. Because 2 times 0 equals 0. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. And then we get x is equal to 4. Because 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So our ordered pair now is our x, right? X is 4, comma, and then y, right? 0. We have our 2 points, and we are ready to plot them. Okay? So I'm going to erase all this. And before I plot them, let's just change the equation to y equals mx plus b just to make sure that we're getting the right slope. Okay? And also, by doing this, we will be able to verify our y-intercept because b in y equals mx plus b is the y-intercept. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So we have the equation 3x plus 2y equaling 12. Okay, move the x over. Move the x over again on this side. Okay, because what we do on this side, we must do on this side, on the equal sign. Okay, these cancel out. And then we have 2y equals negative 3x plus 12. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2 and divide by 2. The biggest change I made here is all I did was put this negative 3x in front of the 12. Okay, I didn't just put 12 minus 3x. I put negative 3x plus 12. And I like to do that because we are setting up this equation to equal this, y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so these cancel out, and then y is equal to negative 3 halves x plus, and then 12 divided by 2 is 6. Excuse me, it's the fish tacos and tequila. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then our slope is negative. Okay, so this confirms that we have a negative slope. And when we plot our ordered pairs, we will hopefully see a negative slope. So this is our y-intercept confirmed 0, 6, and our y-intercept right here equaling b. b is equal to 6. So I am going to write that equation right here just for us, just for our records. And we don't really need it, but I like to have it just so it will guide me as I draw out this graph. Okay? And the graph, guys, it does not have to be perfect. Okay? You do not need a perfect graph. Just sketch one. Okay? Just draw a line like this, draw a line like this. And then what I like to do, because this is habit, is I like to draw my arrows. And all these arrows mean is that it goes y up indefinitely, or what we say is to infinity, and x to the right and to the left to infinity. That's all these arrows mean. You don't have to, but that's just what I do because that's what I was taught. Okay, so let's plot 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and I'm going to use orange. I'm just going to plot this right here. Okay, and then I have 4, 0. So that's on the x-axis, and I go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, and then I have it right here. I don't know why it disappeared, but there it is right there. And I'm also just going to add a few plots, okay? A few hash marks. Okay, and I'm going to extend this one just a little bit more. Okay, perfect. So this one was 6, right? And this one was 4. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. That looks like a 9 though, but you know it's a 4. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to hopefully make a straight line. Bam, straight line complete. Extend it a little bit more, and then we have a straight line. Okay, perfect. So now that we have that, now that we have found our x and y intercepts And we have plotted them on our rough graph here, our rough sketch. Now we're going to test the answer choices. So let's read them. When the value of y is greater than 6, okay, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, okay? When the value of y is greater than 6, okay, so what is a value that's greater than 6? And there's 6 right here. So let's choose 7, right? That makes sense. Let's just choose 7. Okay, x is positive. Well, it says here when the value of y is greater than 6, okay, I chose 7, then x is positive, okay? So we get our 7 right here. We're going to plot it, and then we're just going to go to our line, okay? And our line here stops about right here, and then let's just go down to the axis and see if it's positive or negative. Well, in fact, this is negative, right? This right here, this part of the graph is negative. So this is incorrect, right? Because this says x is positive. Well, in fact, x is negative. And we can get further confirmation by choosing another point. So let's choose 8 over here and then touch our line here and then go down to the corresponding point. And we see here, it's always going to be negative. Every time we have a value, a y value that is greater than 6. Okay, so A is incorrect. B says when the value of x is less than 4, okay, so x, right? We're looking at the x-axis now, and it says less than 4. So 4, let's choose a value that's less than 4, and that is 3. Okay, let's choose 3. And then let's go touch our line here. And I like to think of this as like a tightrope, okay? We touch our line here, and then we go to the corresponding axis, and it's the y-axis. Well, what is this part of the axis? These have positive values. Are they negative? No. So B is incorrect. When the value of y is less than 6, value of y, okay, less than 6, so let us choose 5. Okay, let's just choose an easy number. This is 5. And it says here x is negative. Well, let's go on our tightrope. Okay, and let's touch the line first and then go down. Well, we see here that 5 corresponds with a positive x, and we want negative x, okay, to make it true. So C, incorrect. So let's go ahead now and choose D, or not choose D, but D is the right answer. Let's go check for D. When the value of x is greater than 4, okay, we're back on the x-axis here. Or wait a minute, did I do this wrong? Oh no, I did it right. I chose 5, right? Then I went down here and it became positive. Okay, when the value of x is greater than 4, okay, we have 4 right here. And then we're saying greater than 4. So we're going to choose 5, right? And then we go to our point here, then we touch our line, and then we go to the axis, the corresponding order, or the point for the ordered pair. And then we see here that y is in fact negative, right? And we see this all throughout. It's always negative. So let's say we chose 6. We go to our point here, then we go here to the axis, negative. We go here to our line, go over here, negative. It's always going to be negative to infinity. Okay, that's how you read that. So D is in fact the correct answer. Okay, we got the steps down, right? So we're going to find the x and y intercepts by plugging in 0 for x and for y. And then the extra step is to rearrange our formula to y equals mx plus b, just to confirm what kind of graph we're dealing with. And then we're going to make a rough sketch of our graph. We're going to plug in the 2 ordered pairs, connect the dots, and then plug in, or we're going to test our answer choices here to make sure that they're true or not true. Okay, those are the steps.
Super easy.
It may sound like a lot right now, but once you get it down, you will be able to do it fast, and then you will be able to get it done and get the right answer all the time because you will know what to do. Remember, my dad taught me this. My dad was in the military for 30 years, and my dad taught me this: fast is slow, slow is fast. So let's go ahead and move on to question number 2. Consider the following formula: 13x minus 17y equals 221. This seems like a lot, okay, but it's not that bad once we figure out what's going on. So let's go ahead and start with plugging in 0 or replacing this x for 0, right? And I'm not even going to do it for you because last time I did it for you, you knew what was going on because you knew that 13 times 0 equals 0. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. We know that 13 times 0 equals 0. So I'm just going to write 17y is equal to 221. Divide negative 17. Divide by negative 17. Well, you're going to find out that you may need to know what this equals because 221 divided by negative 17 equals, and this is y equals negative 13 because 17 times 13 equals 221. Okay? You may encounter this where it looks ugly and it looks like these are large numbers. However, they go cleanly into each other. They divide and multiply cleanly with each other. Okay? So let's go ahead and find when y equals 0. So 221. Let's go ahead and make y 0. So our first ordered pair here is 0, negative 13 because we set x as 0. All right, let's go ahead and set y for 0. Okay, y for 0 is right here. And I put this underline here because we're going to fill in that blank. So then let's go ahead and do 13x equals 221. Divide by 13. Divide by 13. We get x is equal to 17 because this is just the opposite. Okay? So we have 17 for x. Okay? So now we have our y-intercept, which is 0, negative 13, and our x-intercept, which is 17, 0. Now, just so we have verification, okay? Just so we have verification where we're going. And let me show you this first. Let me just plug this in, right? Okay. You don't have to do these little lines here. I just like to do them. It makes my graph look neat. So I have 0, negative 13. And I'm just going to put that right here. Negative 13. Okay. And I have 17, 0. And I'm going to put 17 way over here. 17. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. I will make 17 like right here. And I'll make 13 right here. Okay. Just so we have some room for other numbers that we can potentially plug in. So I said 17 right here and 13 a little closer. Actually, they look the same, but honestly, who cares? It's just a rough sketch of the graph. Okay. And just to make sure we're going in the right direction, right? Just to make sure we have the right slope, I'm going to do this. 13x minus 17y equals 221. I'm going to minus 13x. Minus 13x, giving me negative 17y is equal to negative 13x plus 221. Divide by negative 17, divide by negative 17, and then divide by negative 17 here. Further giving me, and we could cross this out, and y is equal to positive 13 over 17x plus, and this is going to be negative actually, because 221 divided by negative 17 is negative 13. So this further confirms my y-intercept of negative 13 because b equals negative 13. This confirms my slope, which is positive, okay? I don't need to know the slope, the exact slope for these kind of questions. So I'm just going to put my point here, and I'm going to do my best to connect the dots, okay? So perfect. I have a positive slope and I have my y-intercept at negative 13. Now let's go ahead and test the answer choices. So it says here, when the value of y is greater than negative 13, x is negative. When the value of y is greater than negative 13. So anything greater than negative 13, it's like a tongue twister. This is like a brain mash or whatever you want to call it. But we would go, this is a negative number. Anything above negative 13 is actually right here, like this, negative 12, negative 11, okay? So I'm going to choose negative 12, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to choose negative 12, and I'm going to go to my line, and then go up. And what does that give me? This gives me a positive x value, not a negative one, okay? So I am going to rule this out. When the value of x is less than 17, y is positive, okay? So 17, and it says less than 17, right? So I could choose 16, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and touch the line here, then go over here. And what does that give me? Does that give me a positive or negative y value? In fact, it gives me a negative value. So B is wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose, like, for example, this right here, and we'll call this 10. Okay, that is less than 17. Well, I go to my line here, and then I go to one of the points here, and in fact, that will give me a negative value, not positive. Okay, it's not until I go over here to like 18, right, where in fact, I go here, I touch the line, and I go over here, it gives me a positive value. So anything below 17, 16, 15, 14, negative 10 over here, it's always going to give me a negative y value, okay? So let's go ahead and test C. When the value of y is less than negative 13, okay, y less than negative 13, anything less is like over here, so I'm going to choose negative 15 right here. Okay, x is positive. Well, let's go. Touch the line, go up onto the corresponding value, and that's on the x-axis. And it looks like we have here a negative value, making C incorrect. Okay, now let's go ahead and test D. When the value of x is greater than 17, okay, we already tested that. I chose 18, and that gave me a positive value. I choose 19, I go to my tightrope, touch the line, and then I go to the corresponding value, and I see it's positive, okay? And look here, if I choose any other values, right, that are above 17, okay, 17.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18, 19, 100, they will always have positive y values. Okay, that's why the cutoffs are very important in these questions. But again, we are not learning the cutoff. We are learning how to graph. Okay, that makes D the correct answer because anything greater than 17 will always yield us positive y values or y greater than 0. Okay, you need to learn these inequality signs. We will see these in the upcoming questions, okay? Positive y values is what this means. All right, we're doing good. I feel good about this. I feel okay about this, re-recording it. Question number 3. Consider the following formula, 2a plus 5b equaling 20. Now, the first thing that you notice is I am using A and B, not X and Y. But no fear, treat them the same way. I will treat A like X, and I will treat B like Y. You could use vice versa, okay? But if you do it one way, you have to stick to doing it one way, okay? So I am going to treat A as like an X and B as a Y. And what I mean is like this. So my A axis will be here, and my B axis will be here, okay? So let's go ahead and do exactly what we did on the previous questions. I'm going to set A for 0, okay? A is X, right? So I'm going to just set that to 0, and I'm looking for this right here. So then I have 5B equaling 20, and then I divide by 5. That's going to give me B is equal to 4, okay? So I have 0, 4. And I'm going to go ahead and plot that right now. 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to change colors. And then we have this right here. Okay. And then now I'm going to set B for 0. Okay. I'm going to set B for 0. So then I have this right here. Oh, oops. I'm going to have this right there. And then this for 0. Okay. And then I am going to do this 2A equals 20. Okay. Divide by 2. I get A is equal to 10. Okay. 10, 0. So let's plug that in. We have 0, 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 11, 12. All right. Oops. Let's use the same color. And then I'm going to connect the dots. It is an art to connect the dots, guys. It is kind of hard to do that. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to confirm our y-intercept as well as our slope. So I have 2A plus 5B equaling 20. And I'm going to minus 2A from both sides. Okay. And I'm left with 5B is equal to negative 2A plus 20. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and divide by 5. That's going to give me B is equal to negative 2/5. A plus 20 divided by 5 is 4. So this confirms that we have a negative slope, right? It goes from left to right, and it falls down left to right. And we have a y-intercept at 4, 0, 4. Okay, we are ready now to test the answer choices. So when the value of B, okay, the B axis is right here, it's the vertical one, is greater than 5, okay, greater than 5, I'm going to choose, this is a 5 right here, okay, I'm going to choose 6, okay. A is positive, okay, so I'm going to get this point right here, and I'm going to go on my tightrope, and I'm going to go ahead and go right here. And no, in fact, A is negative. So A is incorrect. When the value of A is less than 8, okay, A is less than 8, and this was, I believe this was 10. Yes, that's 10. Okay, so we're going to go say this is 10. And then it says here, value of A is less than 8. So 8, this is 9, this is 8, this is 8 right here. And we have to choose a value less than 8. So I am going to choose 7. Okay, and we're going to go up our tightrope, okay, and then we see here that we have B as a positive value, okay, that is incorrect, okay, when the value of B is less than 3, okay, 3, this is 4, this is 3, okay, 3 is right here, and then we said less than 3. The answer choice says less than 3, so I will choose 2. And then A is supposedly negative. So I'm going to walk my tightrope, touch the line, go down to the corresponding point or the corresponding number, and it is in fact positive, not negative. So C is incorrect. Now it says here, when the value of A is greater than 12. Greater than 12. Okay. So I will choose, this is 11, this is 12. All right. And then this is 13 right here. And I'm going to go to the tightrope, touch the line, go all the way to the corresponding point. And this is in fact negative. Okay. And this is correct. D is the correct answer. Okay. You see how they're all D? They're all D so I could test all the answer choices. Okay. I'm forcing you to test all the answer choices. All right. Secrets out. This one looked hard in the beginning, but once you just identify the variables, it's just like questions 1 and 2.
Super simple, super easy, guys.
You will be able to graph like a pro. Okay, moving on. Question number 4. Consider the following formula. K is equal to 2, and then in parentheses, m minus 3 minus 1. Which statement is not true for this formula? So now we are looking for something, a statement that is not true. That means 3 of these statements are true. Okay, this is a brain fuck. Okay, we were always looking for statements that were true. Now we're looking for something that is not true. This will mess with your head when you are taking the test. Okay, just like me, this messes with my head even while I teach it. Okay, so I am going to underline not true. We have to remember that. So the first thing I would do here, I would simplify this. And to simplify this formula, I need to distribute this 2. Okay, this 2 is going to go to this m and to this negative 3. So let's go ahead and do that. K is equal to 2m minus 6, because 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 minus 1. Let's simplify further, combining like terms. 2m minus 7 is our simplified formula. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make m as 0 and k as 0, okay? If we substitute m for 0, what does that give us? I'm gonna give you some time here to figure that out, okay? I know that you're watching this and I can't see you, but I see you. Okay. When I make m 0, that's just going to give me m times 2, which is 2 times 0, equaling 0. So that's going to give me k is equal to negative 7, giving me the ordered pair of 0, 7. Okay? And then I want to find when k is 0. So I want to find m, which is it's like the x-intercept, okay? Because our graph is going to look like this. We're going to have this, we're going to have this, and this is the m-axis, and this is the k-axis, okay? So I'm going to make k for 0. So making k for 0, we have 0 equals 2m minus 7 plus 7 on both sides. And then that's going to give us 7 equals 2m. Divide by 2. That's going to give me m equals, what's 7 divided by 2? That's an easy one. That's 3.5. So our ordered pairs are now 0, negative 7, and then also 3.5, 0. Okay. And I'm going to underline this 3.5. Okay. And then let's go look at our original equation, which is this right here. This is our original equation. And what can you tell me about this graph, given this equation that we're about to draw out? Well, number 1, this confirms our y-intercept at negative 7. Also, we have a positive slope. So let's go ahead and plug in these points. So I'm just going to make negative 7 over here. Okay. and then 3.5. I'm actually going to make these tick marks, okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3.5 is right here. And then 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm going to get this one right here and 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to plug this in right here. And then this right here at -7. And then I'm going to do my best. All right. That one was kind of a crappy line. But this has a positive slope and a y-intercept at -7. Okay, now let's go ahead and test our answer choices here. And I'm going to just put a 3 right here, okay, because this is right in the middle of 3 and right in the middle of 4, 3.5, okay? When the value of m is greater than 4, okay, this is the m axis, greater than 4, okay, so we could choose 5, all right? K is positive, okay? Let's go test that out. I chose 5. I'm going to go here, okay, touch my line, and go over here. Doesn't matter what value it is. All we need to know is if it's positive or negative. In this case, it's positive. Now, what does that mean? That's a true statement. But remember, we're looking for something that is not true, right? We're looking for something that is not true. So, given that this is true, this is the incorrect answer. Moving on to the next statement. When the value of m is less than 3, okay, we're still on m, and we're looking for less than 3. So we could choose this one right here, which is 2, okay? And I'm going to go to my line here, and then go over here on the corresponding point, and we see here that right here, it's a negative value. K is negative. This is also true, giving us the statement as false. B is wrong. Now, when the value of K is greater than 0, okay, K, so we have the K axis, greater than 0, we could choose 1, okay? And then let's go ahead and go over here, and then go down, and just eyeballing it, right? We could see that it's a little bit above 3.5, making this a true statement. M is greater than 3 when K values are greater than 0, okay? If we chose 2, right, we see here that this value is definitely going to be greater, right, than 3. And we could further confirm this because our cutoff where the line crossed the x-axis was 3.5. And that is definitely greater than 3, right? When the y value was 0, right? Do you get where I'm going with this? Okay, so if we choose any value above it, it's always going to be greater than 3 because at 0, it's 3.5, okay? I could further confirm this by doing this, okay? It says here when the value of K is greater than 3. Okay, so K greater than 3. So I'm going to make I'm going to make K greater than 0, so I could choose K as 1, okay? And I'm going to plug in 1 into our equation here. So 1 is equal to 2m minus 7, okay? Plus 7, that's going to give me 8 is equal to 2m. Divide by 2, cross those out. What is 8 divided by 2? That's going to give us 4. I'm going to write it up top here. M is equal to 4. Now, let's go back to our answer choices here. Well, is 4 greater than 3? In fact, it is. Okay? And this is one of those cases where, yes, you can plug in the numbers to test the answer choices. You don't need to graph. But it just, number one, it looks a lot cleaner when you graph. You could further confirm any answer choices here when you graph. Okay? I do like the graphing method better. The cutoff method and also plugging in numbers are the faster way to do this. However, you have to be very careful and you need to know what you're doing. Okay, I believe you need to understand the graphing before you even touch on the cutoff, or if you touch on plugging in numbers. Because if you just plug in random numbers, you won't understand how the graph works. Or maybe you're just super smart at math and you already know how to do this. Go ahead and plug in numbers. But this video isn't for you. Okay, C is definitely true. I will cross that out. Now let's go ahead and test the last answer choice. When the value of m is greater than 3. Okay, m over here, greater than 3. So I have the 3 right here. This is 3, greater than 3. Okay, there's 4. Well, then k is positive. Well, if I chose 4 and I go up here, touch the line, and go here, it's definitely positive, right? This could be a true statement. However, look at this. We know at 3.5, right, it changes from positive or positive here to negative at 3.5. Well, there's a little sliver right here, right? You need to zoom in here. There's a little sliver here where the k values will be negative. Okay, let's say we chose half the distance from 3 to 3.5, which is 3.25. And then we just chose this point right here. That's about half. Then we go down to our line and then go over here, and it's going to be a negative value. Okay, making D incorrect, because if the values of m are greater than 3, they could be both negative and positive. You have to be careful with this, okay? Because there will be those slivers, these little slivers right here in between the points that you will have to account for. Okay? Question number 4 was a great example. Okay? I like question number 4. Okay, let's move on. Question number 5. Consider the following formula. 2x plus 3y equals 15. Which statement is not true for this formula? Again, there's going to be 3 answer choices that will be true, and one of them being false. We have to prove the false one. Now, before we start this problem, let's figure out these inequality signs. Let's see this one right here. If x is, what's this sign mean, right? If x is this, and this means, okay, this means greater than. And this one right here means less than. Okay, you must know these. And don't worry, guys, even I forget them. All right, I'm not perfect. Even I forget them. I am still learning them to this day. Okay, so then I have this right here also. Y is less than 0. Okay, what this means is y values less than 0, and y values less than 0 means negative y values. Okay, and this one right here, y greater than 0, means positive y values. And then I am just going to add a slash and put x, and then slash and then put x, slash put x, and slash put x, because this means the same thing, okay? X less than 0 makes us have negative x values, and then x greater than 0 makes us have x or positive x values, okay? That's all this means. Okay, I know that's a lot to take in, but make sure you screenshot this. Make sure you write this down in your notes while you are following along so you can understand them and memorize them. This is the part where I'm going to ask you to memorize, okay? For the people who have already taken the test, and I bet you're not here, but maybe you like watching this stuff. Remember this stuff? This stuff was fun, right? Okay, there was a couple of problems on the test that I know were there. Okay, so let me erase this and let's go ahead and look at our answer choices. Let's go digest them before we start answering them. Okay, So this says here, if x is greater than 9, then y is what? Y is negative. Okay? If x is less than 8, then y is positive. Positive values y. If, this one right here. If x values are negative, then y is what? Greater than 5. We could choose 6 in this case. If y greater than 0, okay, positive y values, then x is less than 8, okay? So, now that we got that down, hopefully we got that down, okay? I get a little confused still, all right? I do have some flashcards that I have for myself to make sure that I even memorize these from time to time, because I'll forget, okay? So we have 2x plus 3y equals 15. We cannot forget the steps, guys, okay? So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to plug in 0 or x for 0. 0 for x. 0 for x. Yes, 0 for x, okay? So how does that look? Well, that looks like this. You remember? 2, 0 plus 3y equals 15. But you're an expert. And you didn't write it like that. You just already went, all right, 0 for x. I got this. 3y equals 15. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. Y is equal to 5. Our first point is 0, 5. Okay? Now we're going to make y 0. So we're going to do this. 2x equals 15. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X is equal to 7.5. Okay, so then our second ordered pair is 7.5, 0. Okay, we have our 2 points. Let's go ahead and plug it in. Or first, actually, let's not confirm. Let's confirm later. Let's just plug in our points, okay? Assuming that we're just very good at everything. Okay, 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then 7.5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then our points right there. So 9, 10, 11, who cares, right? Okay. And then we said 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. And then I have 7.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 0.5 is right here. And I'm going to connect my dots. Oh, got it. Okay, perfect. Now that we connected our dots and we know that this value is 5, and then we know this value is 7, and then the one just up above it is 8, and this is 7.5, okay? 7.5, that is very important. So we are looking for a statement that is not true. So if x is greater than 9, and remember, these are our axes, okay? If x is greater than 9, so x greater than 9, let's choose this point right here, 8, 9, okay? Then y is what? Y is negative, okay? We go down here, and in fact, yes, y is negative, making a false. Now, if x is less than 8, then y is positive, okay? If x is less than 8, so we're back on our x-axis, and then x says, or it says here, less than 8. So 8 is right here. Well, let's go ahead and choose 7, all right? 7. Let's go to our line here, and then I have a positive value. Well, that could check out, right? But remember, there's this little sliver that's right here between 7.5 and 8. And if I chose like half of 7.5 to 8, 7.75, all right? If I chose that, which is like right here, when I walk the tightrope, and I go over here, and I go to the y-axis, and well, y is negative when x is 7.75 or 7.6 to to 7.7, 7.8 to 9 to 7.99. Okay, all those values are less than 8. We can choose them. And they do give us a negative y value. So y could be both positive and negative, making B not true and the correct answer. Okay? I got you there. You thought all the answers were going to be D, but this one had B as the correct answer. So, for the sake of the video though, let's go ahead and test answer choice C and D. So, if X is less than 0, so negative X values, okay, I'm going to choose, let's say X values, let's choose -1, okay? And then Y is going to be greater than 5. All right, well then let's just go up here, and it's like right here, right? And in fact, that is above 5, okay? Did I say -5? It's not -5, it's +5, okay? -1, we chose a value that was less than 0, which is -1, and then we see that it lands on a value greater than 5. Well, we could further confirm this because at 0, right, when we set X to 0, it becomes 5. So anything below -1 will always be above 5. So if we chose -2, it's definitely above 5. If we chose -3, it's definitely going to be above 5. We could plug it in too. So if we plug it in, right, let's plug in -1, right, to -1 plus 3, y equals 15. That's going to give us -2 plus 3y equals 15. We're going to plus 2 plus 2. That's going to give me 3y is equal to 17. And then we're going to divide by 3, giving us y is equal to, how many times can 3 go into 17? That is going to be 6. So it's going to be 6 and some change, right? 6 and, or no, that's not 6. It's actually going to be 5. It can only go in there 5 because 6 times 3 is 18, and that's above 17. So actually it's 5. It's 5 and some change, right? 5 and it can go in there 5 times and 2/3. So it's just right above the 5, okay? When we have X less than negative or X less than 0, we chose -1 and giving us 5 2/3. Okay, we go choose more negative values, we will get higher Y values, making C correct, but making it incorrect because we're looking for the not true statement. Okay, remember, this is asking for not true. So it says here, if Y is greater than 0, so positive, when y is positive, then X is less than 8. Well, let's choose 1. So I already have this marked here. And then 1, if we go to our line here and go down, it's definitely going to be less than 8 because our x-intercept when X is when Y is 0 is 7.5. So it can't go, my X values cannot go to 8, okay, when my Y values are positive. It just can't, okay? So that makes D incorrect, or that makes D true, but then wrong because we are looking for something that is not true. Okay, we can also do this where we plug in, okay, just like we did here. Let's go ahead and plug in a positive Y value. And we have it right here, 2x plus 3, and then 1 equals 15. Okay, 2x plus 3 equals 15. Minus 3, that's going to give us, and let me just erase this right here. that is going to give us 2x equaling 12, right? Because 15 minus 3 is 12. Divide this by 2, divide this by 2, we have x is equal to 6. And that, folks, is definitely less than 8. So that further proves and confirms that when we have y values that are positive, they will definitely be x values less than 8. All right, let's move on to the last question. Okay, question number 6. Consider the following formula. 1/2 x equals 4 minus 1/3 y. All right, this looks scary. I understand, but it's not that bad. Okay, they will throw fractions at you, but you will know what to do. The first thing that we are going to do, we're not going to plug in 0 for x or 0 for y. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clear this fraction. Okay, so how can we clear this fraction? Well, we have to make sure that whatever we multiply the equation with, the formula with, we must do on both the left and the right side. So a number we can multiply this formula by is 6. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to multiply it out. I'm going to do it right here just to show you what is happening. Okay, multiply everything, right? The whole formula by 6. Okay. All right, so this 6 is going to get multiplied by this 1. This 6 is going to get multiplied by this 1. And the 6 will get multiplied by this whole number of 4. Okay? Giving us 6, because 6 times 1 equals 1. 6 over 2x equaling 6 times 4 is 24. And then minus, and then 6 times 1 equals 6. Divided by 3, and let's go put this y over here. Now let's go further simplify. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then carry that x over, and then 24, and then we have minus, what is 6 divided by 3? That is 2. Carry that y, and this is almost our equation. I'm just going to put this 2y on the same side as this x, giving us the equation of 3x plus 2y equaling 24. Now, this is just like question 1. All we're going to do is plug in 0 for x and y and find our intercepts. So, in this case, 2y is equal to 24, and then divide by 2, giving us y is equaling to 12. Our first point is 0, 12. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. Oops, I need this. I still need that. Okay, our next one now is going to be 3x equaling 24. Divide by 3, x is equal to 8. And that is our second ordered pair. Now we are ready to graph. Okay, let's just confirm the direction of our graph. And I'm going to minus 3x. We're going to put this back. And then giving us 2y equals negative 3x plus 24. Divide by 2, giving us y is equal to negative 3 halves x plus 24 divided by 2 is 12. This confirms our y-intercept. And then we are going to get a negative slope. So let's go ahead and plot this on our rough graph here, our sketch. And then let's go ahead and plug in 0, 12. So I'm not even going to write some tick marks. I'm just going to go 12's right here. Okay, this is 12. And then 8 is 8's right here. Okay. I'm just going to show you that you could do this really fast. Okay, I got this down. Boom. It doesn't even look neat, but you get it, right? Okay. When the value of y is greater than 12, x is positive. Okay. Y values, right? This is y. This is x. Okay, I'm going to choose 13. Okay, 13. Okay, x is positive. Well, you go on our tightrope here. Boom, 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 boom. And we have a x as a negative value. A, incorrect. When the value of y is less than 12, x is negative. Okay, so less than 12, let's have 11, 10, 9, 8. Let's just choose this one right here. Okay, I don't know what this is, but it's definitely less than 12. Okay, well, that's going to give us boom, 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 boom. That's going to give me a positive number. Okay, we go further. It's always going to give me a positive x value. Okay, and I did write that in blue on accident, but there you have it. B, incorrect. Now let's go ahead and go with answer choice C. When the value of x is less than 8, okay? 8 is right here. Less than 8, let's just choose this one right here, which is 7, okay? I'm going to go on my tightrope and go across, and this is positive. And y is definitely positive. And it will be positive indefinitely if we choose any values less than 8, okay? Any values less than 8. We could even choose negative values because they are definitely less than 8. And, well, they become positive no matter what. Positive, okay? All these values, okay? Positive. Positive y values, okay? So, C is the correct answer. But for the sake of the video, let's go ahead and test answer choice D. When the value of x is greater than 8, y is positive. Well, here's 8, right? Let's choose this number right here. I don't know, let's just choose 10. And definitely, y is negative, okay? Y is negative. And we see here, we could just circle this portion of the graph. Y will always be negative when we choose values greater than 8, x values greater than 8, okay? Making D incorrect. So all you had to do here, the extra step for this question was to clear the fraction. Everything else remains the same, okay? This is
super easy.
All right. And I'm just going to, I know it's hard for people. I know it's hard, but I am going to manifest. I am going to say it out loud that, yes, this is easy. And I want you to do that with me. Okay. You're going to get this part. When you go on that test, graphing will be easy for you. Okay. In the name of Jesus, graphing will be easy for you. All right. You're going to get it. So let's move on to question number 7, which I will not do. Okay. Over here, I have this formula, this equation. What I want you to do is to clear the fraction. After that, I want you to plug in 0 for x and 0 for y. Doing that will give you the x and y intercepts, or y and x intercepts. And then I want you to draw a graph, sketch one. It doesn't matter, okay? Just make sure the points, make sure the points at least touch each other like that, okay? I know when I did this graph here, it kind of looked confusing because the points didn't touch each other, or the line didn't touch the point. But when you draw, make sure they're like this, okay? It'll just make it easier when you're going on the tightrope, okay? When you're going on the tightrope, you feel me? So go ahead and do this, guys. Figure out this question. You got to learn your inequalities, okay? This will test how well you paid attention about these inequalities. And you're on my video because you got lots of time to study, okay? You've got this, guys. You've definitely got this. So I pray that the recording did hold up and the audio was captured. And guys, thank you for watching. I would not be here if it weren't for you guys who are liking the video, who are subscribing to the channel, and who are commenting. and also who are helping other people in the comments, because that's all I want to do. You know, the goal of all this was to create a community with up-to-date material for people to pass the test, okay? Because at least I could help you there. I wish I could help you more with the interview process, but at least I will help you make this portion of the application process less of a burden. Okay? Markyfbaby out. I will see you on the next video. Bye. And make sure to check out my gaming stuff, okay? Okay, bye.